welcome to Kenya's Gold, where the focus of the show today is to learn so much about maize farming. That is a new agri-sector that we are embarking on. And to help us learn more about that, we are joined by Val, who is our soil expert of the day. And I know we have some tools here we will open a bit later just to understand what will be happening when it comes to the testing of the soil. Remember, we have been educated time and time again, no matter how much technology comes in the space of agriculture, healthy soil is the best technology. Thank you so very much, Val, for making time to be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So today we do want to learn a lot about soil testing, right? And mimi kama mkulima ambaye nataka kupanda mahindi, nataka kujua nikitest mchanga yangu naangalia nini. But first, just very generally, talk to us about the different ways that are there for testing the soil.
So we have the very known method, which is to actually get samples from the farm and transport them to the lab. And we have what we have today, which is a digital way of doing it, where we have our mobile machines, where we carry them to the farm and actually complete all the testing in the farm. And the farmer is able to receive their results instantly on their mobile phone and their recommendations as well. On their phone.
Great.
Yes.
So if I go this direction with the tools that we have here, I will receive the test results today. And the other process whereby I have to take to the lab, it takes, give or take, how many days?
Maybe a week. It really depends on the workload of the certain labs or other different factors, but give or take a week. Maybe. Yeah.
So when a farmer decides today, I do want to test my soil, what exactly are they looking out for? What are those factors that you need to make sure you tick so that you can understand more about the health of your soil?
The most important one is the macronutrients, which is what is the nutrients that are mostly the determinant of plant health or crop health, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Then we have soil pH, which is also a very big determinant in soil health and how plants perform or grow. Yes.
So we are checking the macronutrients.
Yes.
We are checking the pH.
Yes.
All right. There's also the other aspect where we are told time and again that soil is actually living, and you have to also check if your soil is alive. Is this also part of it whereby we are checking the alive organisms in the soil?
That is known as organic matter. It is done. Other tests are able to get that organic matter.
So when I take my soil to the lab, I'm also able to check the organic matter in my soil?
Yes, the organic matter of the soil.
Great. So when a farmer comes to you for this test, the mobile testing, how much does it cost them?
It costs the farmer 1,000 shillings to test their soil. When they pay that amount, they get their results and their recommendations, which is the type of fertilizer to apply, the quantity of fertilizer, when to apply, and which crop does best with their soil.
Right.
Yes.
Over the years, are farmers now embracing soil testing?
We are still not where we would want to be. It's still a journey of educating farmers. That's the biggest thing we're doing right now, to get farmers to understand the importance of soil testing, why they need to understand soil health even before they get their bags of fertilizer to the farm. And especially now that we're approaching the planting season, it is something we are really, really advocating for.
Why do you think, as much as we now understand the importance of testing our soil, the uptake is not as good as it's supposed to be? What is the challenge in between there?
Number one has been accessibility of the services. Taking an example of where we are today, we are very deep in Bungoma County. So supposing the farmer here needs to have their soil tested, they'll need to carry it from here, take it to Bungoma town maybe, then parcel it to Nairobi or where we have those labs. It is, number one, expensive. Number two, it is time consuming. Number three, a lot of mistakes could happen in the process of sampling the soil, carrying it, transporting it. It could even get lost. So those were some of the challenges. So accessibility was one challenge. Number two is the cost, because if we are to look at the cost of doing the comprehensive test, it will cost a farmer somewhere between 2,500 to maybe 3,000, 4,000, or even up to 5,000, depending on the parameters they want tested on their soil. So that has been the second challenge. The third one is lack of education. Most of our farmers don't really understand, why do I need to test my soil? So what our farmers are used to is it is planting season, I plow my land, I come in with my DAP, I'm used to doing 2 bags, I put my 2 bags, I wait for top dressing, and I move on. That's what, so lack of knowledge also. So farmers need to understand, why do I need to test my soil? How does it benefit me? How does it benefit my soil?
What are the do's and don'ts? Sifai kupima mchanga gani? Or what common mistakes do you see in the process of soil testing?
So if in the case where we are carrying samples to take them to the lab, soil is living, like you said, so it should not be put in polythene bags. It should be put in a khaki bag to ensure that it is still, you know, like it's breathable. But when we're doing the sampling on the field or on the farm, we avoid land where we have previously had cow sheds. Zizi ya ng'ombe ile, you avoid that place. You avoid places where we've used for charcoal burning, or a place where the soil that's there is not the soil that was originally there. You probably had to carry soil in. Yeah,
so you've exported soil to that. What is the purpose, or why is it very important to avoid those 3 cases that you've mentioned, where there was initially Zizi ya ng'ombe, exported soil, and where you've banned charcoal? Why should we avoid that particular soil?
It's because it will not give accurate results of the health of the soil. So that's one portion of your land. You've burnt charcoal there. There's a lot of carbon. It gives results that are not accurate, and it may mislead you to direct a farmer on the recommendations of what you ask the farmer to apply in comparison to the other portion of the land.
Great.
Yes.
So by the time me as a farmer, I'm going to test my soil, I need to be very aware what crop I want to grow in that particular soil, so that I'm guided by the results, or how does that work?
It could work both ways. The farmer could be doing the soil test to understand what crop will do best, but we also have cases where the farmer already knows what they want to plant, and they just need to know what fertilizer or what inputs they need to apply.
So in this particular scenario, we do want to get ready for maize planting in a few weeks. So we do want to check our soil health. And I want us to do that practically, because we have tools of trade. But before we go there, maybe we can open, see what we have here, and then get into the science of it.
That's what we call it.
PAL for PAL.
PAL for PAL, yes.
Okay.
Rafiki wa mchanga. So this device is connected to these sensors. This is what we'll use in the soil. So it goes there. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So I can take them back?
Yes.
So this is a soil PAL.
Yeah.
Rafiki wa mchanga.
Yeah.
And then we've connected it to this.
Yeah, so this is the sensor. This is what actually goes into the soil, and all the results will be translated here. You can turn it on at the power button. So
here we have a switch.
Yeah,
I put it on.
Yes, long press until it's on the screen.
So this uses a battery or what?
Yes, it should keep charge. Yes,
it's on. I can see some figures here. Is there anything to interpret as of now? On a 0007.
Yeah, but you can also see here there's N, that's nitrogen. You can see here. Then there's P, which is phosphorus. You can see K,
potassium.
Yes.
And then the pH.
The pH. Just go ahead.
Next.
That button. Yes. Has it changed?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, you can see temperature.
37.
And moisture, yes, and EC, so the electrical conductivity of the soil.
Great.
Yes.
So for this particular test, we are checking the macro.
The macro, yes.
Nutrients, and then the pH.
Yes.
Right?
Then the electrical conductivity, the soil moisture, and the soil temperature.
Expound to us what you mean when you say electrical conductivity. What is that regarding the soil?
It is basically what affects the availability of nutrients in the soil, how they reach the plants.
All right, so I believe it's time for us to go to the farm and test our soil practically.
Yes.
All right, what do we need to go with?
We need our display machine and our sensors. The rest are an extra sensor and a charger, so we don't need that in the farm.
All right.
We just need this too.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're here in the farm. What else do we need now that we're here? kuchota mchanga.
We're going to need some water and jembe.
Okay.
Yeah, for digging the holes.
I think we can take our tools from this side. All right, so Valerie, I want you to help me understand kuchukua mchanga.
Yeah.
Tunaichukua kutoka wapi? What are the methods of doing this? Please talk to us about that.
So we have different methods of soil sampling. The first one is random method. As the name says, it is random. We can decide to pick from random spots, but with equal representation of the whole land.
Okay.
We have a second method known as the zigzag method. Zigzag is a Z, letter Z. Exactly. So we are choosing spots, but with a zigzag.
A zigzag.
Yes.
So unaweza chukua 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6.
Yeah, we are supposed to have 6 samples. So within the Z, we will take 6 samples of
within the
soil.
random, also
Yes,
6 samples.
Also 6, yes.
Great.
Then we have the third one, which is the transverse. Transverse is an X, a letter X. So from one corner, this
So
line.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, and 1, 2, 3 until we get our 6 samples.
Great. Which one do you want us to use out of the 3?
Could we start with the random?
Okay.
The random one. So we will get 6 samples. I'm going to mark probably my points starting from here.
Okay. So where you choose, I put a marking.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. So randomly, where do you pick? Number 1?
Here.
Here.
Let's start here.
Okay. 1.
Yeah, that's 1. Then we could decide to do this as the second.
There.
Yes, number 2.
1, 2.
Then we could do this corner here as the third one. This is
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Then we
Okay.
can move to a more random one. You can
I can pick one.
Yeah, at the center there.
Here.
Yeah, at the center there.
Okay.
So that's number 4. Then we can have number 5 and 6 to represent that corner maybe.
This side.
Yeah.
Here, good enough?
Yes, and maybe here as well.
Okay.
So we have our 6 points now. We can begin the sampling.
Okay.
So we dig about 15 centimeters into. So the essence of this is to remove the topsoil. So, you know, topsoil mostly it could have other things that are that will not give us accurate results of the actual soil. It could have been carried here by erosion. So once we have that, we'll have our water. Then we can insert our.
How much water should we
Just
put?
a little water. Those sensors will need water to give us accurate results.
Is there anything like excess water? Umeka maji excess so the results will not be accurate?
No, the only problem is when the soil is dry. So results from, maybe we can test this. So results from here, where the soil is dry, they remain 0.
0, 0.
Yeah, but when you insert these sensors where we've actually put the water, maybe you can read, there should be a difference. So
From 0, if we look at our nitrogen, it's now at 1.
Yes.
pH 7.
Yes.
Moving forward to our temperature 32.
Moisture.
Moisture 19.
And AC.
Yeah, electrical conductivity 13.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. So as I was saying, if we do this on dry soil, we don't get
Any
accurate
results. Okay.
Yeah.
Does the type of water you use matter? Mtu akitumia salty water, fresh water, tap water, rain water, does it affect the result in any way?
No, we avoid chlorinated water because you see now chlorine is an element that affects the availability of other nutrients.
Right.
As long as it's natural water, not chlorinated, it's fine.
Right.
Yes.
So with this information that we have from the first test that we have done,
Yes.
remember this farmer is getting ready to plant maize. How do we interpret this information? What is this telling me as a farmer?
So you see the farmer's nitrogen was at 1. So basically maize does well at 40% of nitrogen, 25% of phosphorus, and 20% of potassium. But in this case, it is even less than 1% because this is in milligrams. This is like 0.04%. So it means the farmer needs to ensure they are using their recommendations for nitrogen, for fertilizer will involve them to use a little bit more nitrogen. But we would advise them also to add organic fertilizer. Like manure or compost to keep building the nutrients in the soil and for sustainability. Yeah.
Is growing beans an option?
It is an option. Beans are good for nitrogen fixing, which also helps the soil. So the farmer could decide to intercrop, do maize and do beans.
Right.
Yes.
So should we go to the next spot?
Yes, we can.
And see more results?
Yeah, the difference in the different...
Our other point was where? Where?
Here, the corner there.
Here. It was here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to, you did dig the first one. Let me get into action and dig the second one. This particular point, the nitrogen 8,
yes,
phosphorus 11, potassium 23, the pH is at 7. How are we doing for someone who wants to grow maize?
Still not there.
Right. I'm very curious. This is the same farm. The distance between there and here is literally a few steps. Why is there such significant difference in the nutrients level? Because at that particular point, the nitrogen was at 1.
Yeah.
Here we are at 8.
Yeah.
What happened?
It is very natural for the soil will not be the same in all particular points will be different. Yeah, that's why we have to take 6 samples to ensure that the results we are giving the farmer are accurate. Because whatever is results we got there are not the same one we get here, will not be the same we get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So once you take all the 6 results, you compile it and give it to the farmer immediately.
An aggregate, yes. They receive an aggregate of those results on their mobile phone. Yes.
And what happens after that?
The farmer now goes ahead to pay for recommendations. So they get recommendations of the fertilizer they need to apply for the, in this case it's maize or maize and beans. The fertilizer they'll need to apply with the ratios as well. And at what time, what rates of the fertilizer.
What's the correct pH for growing maize?
From 5.5 to 7.
So here we are at 7.
Yeah.
So we are good.
7 is neutral. So maize thrives well at 5.5 to 6.5. That's where maize, that's the optimal.
So hapa lazima tu tafute kitu tuteremshe hii pH kidogo.
A little bit, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. How often does a farmer need to do soil testing in their farm?
We recommend for farmers to do testing at the beginning of every season, every planting season. Yeah, because what we expect to see an impact from the test we do today to the inputs that they apply, we expect to see an impact.
Right.
Be it organic or synthetic fertilizers, we expect an impact. So for the next season, the farmer needs to be informed again on what inputs do I need to use? In what ratios do I need to use them?
Right.
Yes.
And as we wrap up this conversation, maybe you can touch on some of the things that our farmers do that lead to the degradation of their soils.
Number one is when the farmers lack information, like when they've not done soil testing, they apply fertilizer or inputs blindly. So number one could be over-fertilization, that they keep applying. So a farmer will say, I've always done 2 bags of NPK or of DAP, or so that's what they've done continually. It could lead to over-fertilization. Whatever the farmer is giving the soil might not be what the soil needs. The other thing could be toxicity of the soil, and which also now affects soil pH. If the farmer applies the nutrients that the soil does not actually need, then most of it goes to waste, which now brings us to the point where it is not cost effective for a farmer. They are spending money, but they can't get output because the maize does not actually use whatever it is they gave them. So the biggest reason for soil testing is for them to understand what is the soil deficient of, what do they need to apply, in what ratios do they need to apply.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Val, for speaking to us and helping us understand why it's very important to make sure that we as farmers practice soil testing. It has also been very interesting to do it practically and interpret the results for ourselves. Our work right here at Kenya's Gold is to make sure that the government and even private stakeholders come together to make sure that this very essential service is affordable and even accessible to our farmers. Thank you so much for watching our Gold Conversation.